So today marks a major milestone, our 100th podcast episode. Actually, I think it's 101, but who's counting? Which is dedicated to bring real practical financial insights to healthcare practice owners. Over the past decade, the landscape of healthcare and finance has definitely shifted dramatically. So in this episode, we're going to take a step back. We're going to reflect on what's changed, what's coming next, and then the timeless financial strategies that will continue to drive your success no matter what area or era we're in. Practice owners, tired of working hard but not seeing the financial results you deserve? I'm Eric Miller, and my best-selling book, How to Become a Financial Beast, is your game changer. Learn how to maximize profits, pay yourself right, and build wealth outside your practice. Download now for free. Welcome back to the Financial Beast podcast, and guess what? This is our 100th episode. Actually, I think we've already had 100 episodes. So technically the last one was probably the 100th episode, but we're celebrating the 100th episode. So there you go. Who cares?
It's around 100.
It's around 100. It's around 100. So I'm your host, as usual, Eric Miller, chief advisor, co-owner, best financial friend forever of Econologics Financial Advisors. We offer premier financial advice for practice owners and their associates. And we've been doing that since, since I had hair. And now that I don't. So it's been a long time. 2008, Gersch. God knows where you were in 2008. I know where you were in 2008.
Where?
But we won't discuss that until we get a little deeper into the celebration.
I was in college.
And the conversation. Yeah. I'm sure you were in college. I'm sure you were in college at that point in time. You try to act like you're still that young, but you're not. You know, you're tipping on 40 right now. So
I'm well aware.
It's coming.
I am well aware, unfortunately.
Make sure you guys check us out at econologicsfinancialadvisors.com. We have like one of the most incredible financial assessments that you've ever seen in your entire life. I would encourage you guys to go take it. If you at all have any confusions about your personal financial condition, there's never been anything like it ever. It is the most incredible financial assessment that you can possibly take.
It's big. It's beautiful.
It's big. It's beautiful. It's colorful. I've never seen any colors like it before. It's pretty amazing.
You're getting good at that.
I am getting good at that. I'm getting very good at that. So, all right. So what we're going to do today is we're actually just going to kind of look back because this was our 100th episode. And, we've probably been doing this for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah. Man, I think it's been 3 years.
And I'm not going to lie to you. It's not always easy to come up with topics all the time. We do try to we go over certain things over and over again.
Yep.
But I think we're just going to go take a trek down memory lane a little bit and just talk about some of the things that we've seen with practice ownership over the last 10 years and what has changed, what has not, and what separates the people, because we have conversations all the time with people that are winning in their finances and those that are just constantly always struggling. And believe me, there are people that just constantly always struggle.
Yep.
And it's kind of odd to us, because we want to change, that. But yeah, man. So you joined when? You had your 9-year anniversary.
I joined August 1st of 2016.
Right.
When I walked through the door and just dispelled magic everywhere and just changed Econologics' trajectory, some would argue.
Was that before or after you lied on your application?
That was after. You still hired me.
That was after you lied on your application, right?
Well, sometimes just got to get in the door with a little white lie.
So,
anyway, to be clear, though, just for our listeners, the application asked if I lived in the Tampa Bay area. And at the time, I lived in Jacksonville, which is about 3.5 hours away. But I had plans to move to Tampa Bay. So
we had plans. You had plans to do a lot of things.
My lease just hadn't started yet, but
technically, at that point in time, I
was moving towards Tampa Bay.
Yes, Gersh.
So basically,
we all know how you justified it. It's totally fine. The utter deception that your career started on at that point in time. But
I know it's the worst thing ever.
But we'll go from there. When you first started, then let's fast forward to when you first started as an advisor, because we know how terrifying that was for you.
Yes,
when you did that. But God, what's changed?
Oh gosh, I think a lot. I mean, number one, technology.
Yep.
So I started advising in 2018.
Yeah.
And back then, I mean, not that it was like the old ages, but there was no AI assist for medical notes. Now there's programs that you can use if you're like a dentist that read the x-rays for you. There's definitely been a lot of technological advances in efficiency.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one in practice ownership. I think the other one has just been the amount of corporate selling, corporate buying.
Oh yeah,
that's been a huge one.
That really started right around 2018 is when it,
I think right when you kind of like started to get your, get your groove on, that's when we really started to see like private equity money into these industries that we work in.
Yep. Interest rates were pretty low. They weren't COVID low yet, but they were low historically speaking. And then obviously in the COVID years when the interest rates were drastically low, the corporate buying activity was through the roof. It was like every week somebody was selling for some ungodly amount of money.
Yeah. Just, because when I started in 2008, 2009, I don't think I had anyone sell their practice for probably close to like maybe 6 or 7 year period, almost 7 years. I may have one.
Yeah.
One person that sold. That was it.
There was no private equity money in it.
And ever since then, ever since 2016, 2017, I mean, it's probably been, I don't know how many we've had right at this point. It's probably close to 60 or 70 people that have sold.
Oh, absolutely.
At this point. So that's been a big change.
Yes.
For sure. That's been a big change for sure. I think the other big changes that I've seen in some of the industries that we work in, obviously it seems like wages have just skyrocketed in some areas.
That was going to be my next thing was wages and hiring.
Yeah, wages have skyrocketed, the demand for pay. And I get it, it's been, it's just been a thing,
It has.
So there's really no other ways to work around it that, Now, the other thing that I've seen, I think more patients have become more aware of the need for, some of the things our doctors do. So I think most people, the new patients have stayed at a pretty high range. It's been easier to get new patients.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. I've seen that occur. What else has changed over that time frame? Obviously difficulty in finding good people, but that's never really changed that much.
Yeah, I think that's what I was just going to say is, I don't really remember good enough to give like a very solid opinion. I feel like people complain about it a little bit more today than they used to, maybe because unemployment is so low.
Yeah.
But at the same point, too, probably not. The one thing I will say though, not in relation to hiring good people, but hiring doctors,
Yeah.
I do think that's got tougher.
That's gotten way tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Finding good associates that can produce, that's gotten much, much more difficult.
Yep.
So that's just the truth. It really has. And I don't know really what to do about it. And some of the associates coming out aren't willing to do some of the things that the previous generation were doing for whatever reason. They weren't.
I hear it all day.
And I don't think it's completely untrue.
Oh no. But I think it goes back to supply and demand, right? If there's a bunch of associates fighting for jobs, they're willing. Right now, you've got more jobs than associates. So associates can say, hey, I only work 30 hours a week. I don't work after, 3:30. I don't do emergencies, whatever it is, it's not favorable to the owner, but they're going to find someone that's going to give them that very easily. So
that's for sure.
You either suck it up and match or keep trying.
Let's talk about from a financial perspective. Anything changed over these last 10 years? Well, interest rates went way up. When I say way up, they didn't even go way up. They've just went up. They've went up. Okay, but we really haven't seen much in the change of stock or equity prices.
No,
they've had fluctuations like they have for the last 100 and some years.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's really any changes in the market, the stock market.
I mean, there's been shifts in growth versus value and those kinds of things, but I don't think that there's been any real changes in those areas right there.
No, your most favorable action still going to be buying and holding. Time in the market.
Yep. Values of practices has went way up.
Yes,
way up. So the values of your practices and the potential of them has went way up, especially if you have good practices. So when we were, again, we first started, you guys were lucky to get maybe 60 to 70% of revenue for the sale of a practice. And now, over these last 10 years, we have seen some of the most ridiculous numbers I think we've ever seen.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've seen 4 times revenue.
We've had practices sell for, 15 million, 18 million, 22 million, 25 million, just ridiculous amounts of money that owners have made. So I think one of the things you guys got to realize is that your biggest investment is still your practice, and it has the potential to really take care of you.
Yes, it does.
If you treat it like an investment and you continue to do that. So I think our focus has been a little bit more on, whereas when I first started, I wasn't even really thinking about selling the practice. What we were trying to do is get you to take profits out of the practice and create personal income streams with that, which really hasn't stopped. I'm still doing that. We're still doing that, and that is a successful action. That will be that will be a successful action until time immemorial.
Yep.
Okay. And that, again, if you want to ask, like, what's the difference between people that have had success over the last 10 years and those that have not? The ones that have had success have routinely, consistently, persistently, stubbornly, not stopped expensing out profits and channeling that to their household to create other income sources.
Yep.
Okay. And if you can continue to do that, you're going to win the game at some point in time. And it is a slow game because it does take, a little bit of time to do that. 7 to 10 years.
Yeah. It's not an overnight.
No.
Yeah. No.
But one day you do wake up and you do have significant assets. You're like, oh, wow. Okay. Things are a little easier on that. So that's been a successful action. I think debt has been a little bit it was a big problem when we first started. People had so much debt. I don't really see that as much anymore. Do you?
Not as much. And I think part of it could just be my slanted view because all of my clients, for the most part, are long-term and have paid off a lot of debt.
Yeah.
But the other piece too is, and I mean, this doesn't completely answer it, but during the COVID years, once again, most people refied their debt at very low rates, making it more affordable. It doesn't get rid of it, obviously, but it made it more affordable.
Yeah. So, the low rates really allowed people to refinance business and personal debt to manageable payments, and as long as your income stayed steady or increased even a little bit, even 2 or 3%, then, the debt really wasn't burdensome. So I think the burden of debt has changed a little bit. Now, that's probably not so for new people that are coming out of school right now with higher student loan rates, and some people, and getting houses. People aren't able to do that anymore. Maybe the younger generation.
Assets are more expensive.
Yeah, assets are definitely more expensive than what they were. So that's certainly been a change right there. But I just haven't felt the burdens that's like this huge problem. Whereas before, it seemed like every person was just like drowning in it.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
so
I remember
terrible.
getting clients that would have 14, 15, 16 different debts.
Yeah.
And now I can't remember the last time I saw that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little
It's
different.
good.
I do like that too. I mean, I do like that because that is one of those things that just wears on somebody.
Oh, it's so mentally draining and it's so defeating, and yeah.
So I've definitely seen that. What are some other like really key things that people have done that over the years that you've seen are like, dang, that's they've really prioritized that. Just financial management and learning more about financial management, like really making sure you understand your numbers. That has been something that I've seen the successful people do.
Yeah.
The guys that just continue to ignore it,
Well, I think it's in your face more.
It really is.
Especially with apps like TikTok. And I'm not saying the advice that people get on TikTok is right. 90% of the time it doesn't apply to them or it's just factually wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it's at least making people think. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Asset protection has been like the latest hot button topic.
Yep.
And I have had many people over the last 6 months to a year come to me asking about like, oh, do I need this, that, and the other thing? Do I need 92 LLCs? I'm like, where are you getting this? And oh, well, TikTok or YouTube. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't need it, but I'm glad you're thinking about it. It doesn't mean there's not room for improvement, but
a lot of people are worried about, their estate plan, wills, and all those things. I mean, I have seen people. It seems like recently they've had either a parent die or they've had an experience with that, and that's I've seen an uptick in that, which is kind of cool. And
it is cool.
Actually, we have a service that we can help people get their wills and durable power of attorneys and all those things established really, really quickly for a really inexpensive price. You guys should definitely make sure you connect with us. Go to our website, schedule an intro call, and we can show you how to do that. But people are starting to think about some of these things right now that could happen. Yeah. Asset protection would be another one. Of course, I've had some people that have went through and done some of the dumbest things too. They've signed up for like, a lot, thousands and thousands of dollars of services for, asset protection and estate planning when it doesn't need to cost that much.
Yeah. They go way overboard.
Yeah. Like I need to go get a, Siberian LLC.
It's always the same. I was just gonna say it's always the same sell. It's always come do what the Rockefellers did, and it's like, well, you're not worth $100 billion.
Yeah,
You don't need to do what the Rockefellers did.
When you are worth $50 or $100 million, then we can start talking about some of these things. Until then, most of the asset protection that you guys have is really going to be handled by either like in traditional insurance, business entities. What other tools do we have? State laws.
Yes, I was going to say state and federal laws. Correct titling of accounts.
Correct titling of accounts. You can handle 90. You can protect 90% of your assets just through those things.
Yeah, you don't
without trying to have to go to I got to go offshore. I have to go do some of these other things. I mean, it's just not necessary.
Yeah.
So don't listen to a lot of that stuff on there. There's definitely things, but you should be proactive in this area. All right. But yeah, I've definitely seen, you have to add.
It's a double-edged sword.
It's same thing with taxes as well. Same thing with taxes as well. And, we've partaken in advanced tax strategies that are still out there. And I guess that's never going to change because people still want to minimize, paying their taxes. But I think that's gotten harder, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we used to be able to do, we no longer can. And, I always tell clients tax strategies is kind of like, it's like a whack-a-mole, right? Mm-hmm. Something pops up, it works for a while. The IRS clamps down, something new pops up, and it's a never-ending cat and mouse game.
Yeah, and I guess it all depends on what your level of risk is and your appetite for risk, and whether or not you want to do that or not. Which I'm okay with. People that want to take some risk and do these things, they're available.
They are, yeah.
And you just got to be willing to sit across from an auditor and justify what that is. But those are definitely same thing. I don't think that's going to change too much, looking forward over the next 10 years. I think AI is certainly looking forward. I think AI is certainly going to change some things on how people handle their finances. It probably makes budgeting a little bit easier. It probably makes forecasting a little bit easier. These are some things but most people don't do that.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of people, like, some of these tools exist and some people use them, but I just don't think I think AI just in general can be off-putting to people. It just seems like this uber complex thing, and people don't like getting outside of their comfort zone.
Well, look, man, I put in yesterday, like, give me the ideal expense allocation for a healthcare practice, and it did in different industries, right?
How accurate was it?
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. But all that is data. Most people know that. How do you implement it? How do you handle when it doesn't align correctly? What do you inspect? What do you then do? These are all things that AI is not going to handle for you.
No.
Okay.
It can give you the data, but it can't. Like you said, it can't implement it into your life.
No, you see a dip in your revenue. What's AI going to do for you? Well, these are the 5 things on how to handle that. No, I mean, these are things that you have to handle with people one-on-one, and AI is not going to save you on that because if you want to have a productive and healthy and vibrant practice, it's not about what the AI tells you. It is one-on-one conversations with people, right? It's still your leadership. It's still your vision. It's still these things that need to be communicated. Okay. So those are things that I don't think, AI is certainly going to help on administrative tasks. It's going to help on record keeping. It's going to help, give us data, but you can have data, but then you have to do something with it. Yeah. And only people are going to be able to do things with that data.
Yes.
That's for sure. So I don't think that's going to change. Exactly. For now.
For now.
From an investment standpoint, I don't see AI doing anything differently than we all thought robo-advisors were going to change the world, right?
Yeah. AI is just the next iteration of algorithms and,
I don't necessarily see that. things have not changed in over 100 years. You guys have zero idea what the price of securities or asset prices are going to be in 5 or 10 years from now.
Yeah,
None.
and AI can't tell you.
And nobody's going to tell you that. None. Okay. So your job, as someone that is responsible for the financial condition, and our job is to make sure that we're doing the basics of wealth building.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to continue to do that. AI is not going to be able to show you that at all, because AI doesn't push you to do some of the things that need to be done. AI is not going to be able to handle an emotional response that you have. Okay. AI is not going to be able to say, hey, it's time for you to increase the amount of money that you're putting into your investments. Right.
No.
Or let's allocate more money here, or allocate. They're not going to do that for you.
Nope.
So you're still going to need a good financial team that is looking at the stats and handling, whatever problems that you have going forward. So I don't think that's going to change at all.
No.
What else? What else should we celebrate?
I can't really think of anything else.
What do you think in the next 5 years, Gersch? Give us your prediction.
What do I think will change in the next 5 years?
Yep.
I mean, we've already kind of talked about it. I think administrative stuff will get a lot quicker with as AI gets better. I think the employment market may get a tiny bit better because unemployment's going up.
Yeah.
It's still low, but it's going up. And I think, and I guess you've been able to say this.
I don't necessarily think anything's
decades, but
I don't think
there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of advances in technology, and money's going to be made off of it.
Yeah.
There's.
I don't think anything is going to happen in the healthcare industries that we're in right now. I think people are still going to need assistance for their pets.
Yeah.
They're still going to want to go see a doctor. They're still going to
people are very safe, right?
Yeah. They're still, if you want to get pain free, you're still going to have to go to a physical therapist.
Yeah, there's no technology that's going to take, at least in our, in the long foreseeable future, no one's replacing the doctor.
Yeah. So I think we're pretty safe there.
Yeah.
Biggest threats that we have are, I think, insolvency and inflation, too much government spending and not enough production in the economy that would keep inflation at a reasonable rate. That could certainly be a problem. But again, you guys, if you have successful practices, if you handle money correctly, that's going to beat 90% of the problem. Like I said, people, that don't have any money are always going to have a problem with inflation, right?
Yeah.
So if you have assets and income sources, I think we're going to be good. So anyway. All right. How you feeling?
Right. Well, till next time.
Congratulations on our 100th podcast, and we'll see if we can do at least 100 more. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.